We are here to debate on the topic African colonial past is the root cause of its current economic challenges. And we have the proposing side and the opposing side. Thanks.
On human potential, yet remain bounded by economic struggles. The question we must ask is, why is land so wealthy remain so poor? The answer lies not just in the present, but deeply rooted in the past. Today, distinguished judges, panel of moderators, co-debaters, and audience. My name is Giti Renato. I boldly stand before you to strongly support the motion that African colonial past is the root cause of its current economic challenge. Before I proceed, it is important to define a key term colonialism. Colonialism is the system whereby foreign powers take control of another land, exploit its resources, and dominate key people for their own economic and political benefit. In Africa, colonialism has never been about development. It has always been centered on exploitation. I will consolidate my stance with the following points. Economic exploitation. Firstly, colonialism was used to economic exploitation. Colonial powers exploited African wealth such as gold, oil, rubber, and agricultural products without reinvesting in the country. In a country like Nigeria, for instance, crude oil generated billions in the revenue, yet other oil-producing regions like the Niger Delta remain undeveloped. African countries who are blessed with valuable mineral resources, despite their vast mineral wealth, continue to struggle economically due to long-standing exploitation that began during the colonial rule. This clearly shows that African economy was designed to favor outsiders, not its own people. Expression of money economies. You can agree with me that colonialism has been the architect of money economies in African countries. African countries who are forced to depend on one or two export commodities instead of building their economy. Whether, for instance, was structured around cocoa production, until today, the economy is heavily tied to cocoa export. Similarly, Angola depends largely on cocoa export. When global oil prices fall, the entire economy suffers. Thirdly, I'll speak on the issue of development in human capital. The colonial system has done more harm than good to Africa. This system limits education and human development. The proponents of this exploitative system promptly accepted Africans from acquiring leadership skills and assuming leadership roles. And this has over the years hampered innovation to Africa. As a result of this, many African nations struggle to manage their economy effectively. In conclusion, African economy is not just exploit Africa, it begins their growth and restricted their human potential. All this began with colonialism. This effect did not just end with independence, but continue to shape African economic realities today. Therefore, I firmly affirm that African colonial past is the root cause of this current economic challenge. Thank you.
Africa gained independence decades ago, and since then, the responsibility for economic growth and development has rested downly in the hands of our leaders. So far it is said that the future of Africa lies in our hands. If we have enemy, we should be the first enemy to ourselves. One African adage says that if there is no enemy with him, the enemy with us can't help us. My name is Richard Oluchi. I stand firmly to oppose the motion which says that colonialism is the root cause of African current economic challenge with this articulated point. Firstly, corruption and mismanagement. Corruption today is driven by our leaders and systems, not our past colonizers. Colonialism is just a narrative that our leaders use to exploit and deflect attention to their failures and greed. When we blame our colonial masters, I pause a little while and ponder over this simple but honest question. Why must Africa be the most poorest continent out of the 7? And who on earth makes other continents far better than Africa? The Corruption Perception Index of Africa ranked 33%, indicating a widespread of governance challenges. Quite unfortunate. Secondly, our leaders failure to diversify the economy. Many African countries depend on one export product, and this decision is made by our leaders, not our past colonial masters who left the shores of African continent hundreds of years ago. Yes, one economy may be created by a colonial master, but no overseas restriction was placed on our leaders' head not to delve into sources that will improve the economy. Check this out. For Ghana to be exporting cocoa and importing chocolate is an irony. Nigeria, rich in gold and petroleum, and begging for dollar every year is another issue. In fact, Africa is not poor. We are just being impoverished by our leaders. Again, colonialism has played a very big role in eradicating illiteracy in Africa. What we have experienced today is the result of our colonial masters. They came when our ancestors were walking naked, barefooted, and nearly equate themselves with animals in the bush, and decided to give them a brand new list of beautiful and refined way of life. It's something to be reckoned with. Then I came to exploit Africa. To me, it's a selfish statement because the Bible says in the book of 2 Timothy 2 verse 6 that the husbandman that left bread must be the first to take partaker of the fruit. resources on the world most. Do you still want to muscle out that trade fund? Well, I believe I have given you enough show points to prove that colonialism is not the cause of African backwardness. Thanks.
If the foundation of a building is faulty, no matter how beautiful the structure is, it will eventually collapse. African economic struggles today are not random. They are the direct result of a deeply faulty foundation laid during colonial rule. Today is the new judges, rather moderators, like all debaters and audience. My name is Bless. I stand as the second speaker of the affirmative team to further strengthen our position. The African colonial past is the root cause of the current economic challenges. My critical has clearly established that colonialism exploited African resources, basic economic structure, and limited human development. I will now go further to show that colonialism did not just affect Africa in the past. It created a system and structure that continues to damage Africans today. I will use the following well thought out and repair point of my dream and fair my stand. Point 1. Artificial borders and conflict. Most of the conflicts in Africa can be rightly attributed to an artificial border created by colonialism. These borders were done without the rigors for ethnic, cultural, or religious differences, forcing diverse groups into one single political system. And this will lead to persistent conflict, ethnic tension, and political instability. Let us be clear, no economy can go in the environment of constant conflict. Instability leads to destruction of infrastructure, loss of life and workforce, fear among investors. The country we see today are not accidental. They are rooted from colonial decision. Point 2. Weak political institutions. The truth we all portray involved is that colonial government were not designed to serve the people. They were designed to control, exploit and extract. The colonial master made use to honor income in democratic governance, accountability and poor leadership structure. After independence, African nation inherited a system that was already weak and ineffective, and this led to what our opponents may call bad governance. It is therefore not out of place to only affirm that bad governance we experience in Africa today get this root from colonialism. Point 3. Infrastructure before exploitation. Before I rest my case, I think it is pertinent to mention that colonial infrastructure were designed for exploitation, not development. Roads and railways were constructed to move raw material from mines and farms to ports for export and serve not to connect cities, promote trade or develop local industry. This exploitative act are contributing to poor internal trade system and weak industrial growth. My opponents may argue that corruption problems are caused by corruption and poor leadership, but if I may ask their opponents, that strong leadership emerge from a weak system, an effective government goes for a foundation for not development. Corruption is not the root. It is a symptom of a different structural problem created by colonialism. In summary, colonialism did not have Africa in the past. It created a system and structure that continue to produce poor leadership, instability, and poor economic outcomes.
I would say that colonialism is a wonderful thing. It spread civilization to Africa. No use as we know it. No school, no hospital, not even normal country. But the advent of the colonial rule in the late 19th century, then primitive Africa began to evolve towards Africa. Today, Mr. Chairman, moderators, honorable members on the high table, and fellow debaters, I stand as Cameroon and just stand to oppose the motion which says African colonial past as the root cause of its current economic challenges with this strong point. Point 1. Colonization by choice. That's neocolonialism. African government has stated earlier the root cause of its current economic backwardness and not the colonial masters. Many countries have been mortgaged like foreign countries like China, international financial institutions like IMF, which perpetuate dependence. Research shows that approximately 14 African countries have been indebted to China with Nigeria being among the top ones. What are we talking about? I would like my opponent to jump out and focus on the problem of Africa if the reason along with me. Another cause of African current economic challenges is internal conflict. If colonialism came in with other conflicts, it has caused some problems to the overall development. Why can't it be connected at the same goal and knowing the problem is half the solution? Tribalism has eaten deep into the fabric of our existence. Damaging as colonialism was to Africa, because of its countries, prevent pressure from
Today, distinguished family of moderators, my co-debaters, and the audience. My name is Shina Sudenel. I stand unshakably to audaciously propose the motion that says Africa's colonial past is the root cause of its current economic challenges. You cannot treat it successfully if you ignore its root cause. Africa's colonial past, Africa's economic challenges are often discussed at the surface level. But today, we have to expose the root, and trust me, the root is colonialism. My colleagues have meticulously pointed out the ills of colonialism. I'll still arguments to the following points. First, neo-colonialism, modern day control. We all may think that we're not governed by the colonial masters, but that may be fallacious. The truth is that even in the present day, Africa is still operating within a system created by colonialism. Colonialism did not truly end. It only changed its form into what we now call neo-colonialism. African countries are still economically controlled through foreign debts, unequal trade agreements, influence of multinational corporations. This system ensures that Africa continues to sell cheap raw materials and export finished goods, just as it did during the colonial rule. This is far from independence. It's a continued dependence in another form. Second, unfair global trade structure. My second point is the global trade structure. The global economic system itself reflects on colonial patterns. It's a known fact that there is an imbalance in the global trade structure, which is unfavorable to countries in Africa. Africa sells cheap raw materials but buys expensive finished goods. And this situation leads to low revenue, trade imbalance, and slow industrial growth, which terribly affects the African economy. And if you must ask this question, who designed the system? The answer won't be fast-fetched. It's a system established by the colonial masters to favor their own home countries. Thirdly, mindset of psychological and structural dependence. Over the years, Africans have been conditioned to rely on foreign powers for direction, technological advancement, and economic support. It is more like Africans rely on foreign, even to respire. Little wonder our leaders prioritize having loan application of foreign financial institutions and foreign countries as part of their manifesto. Many countries depend heavily on foreign aid and external policy. This is not because Africa lacks potential, but because colonialism suppressed self-driven development. In conclusion, my opponents argue that corruption and bad leadership are the main causes of African problem. I'll rest my case by stating that corruption is not a root cause, it's a consequence of a broken system inherited from colonial rule. Blaming Africa alone is like blaming a child for struggling after being denied proper upbringing. Thanks.
Burkina Faso interim President Ibrahim Traoré, a well-known anti-imperialist, a revolutionary leader, a real Pan-African leader, is an African man. I admire him so much because of his doggedness and firm belief that Africa can stand on their own if well managed. He said, I quote, "We'll never bend our bows to the face of adversity, but we'll stand firm until our people are truly emancipated." I am Charles Okipimasemebo. I throw my weight behind my colleagues to oppose the motion which says African colonial past is the root cause of its current economic challenge. In this speech, I will mostly repeat the stance taken by President Ibrahim Traoré, mentioned above, because it was not the opinion that Africa can be great, but practically working and changing the narrative. Burkina Faso has demonstrated that colonialism cannot keep Africa backward but her leaders since taking over power in September 2022. The president has initiated a series of ambitious infrastructures and industry development projects like gold refinery, agro-processing park, cotton processing industry, cement production, and the rest. All these are verifiable facts. A Russian Africa summit held in the year 2023. They have boldly encouraged Africa to stop behaving like puppets in foreign powers. Imperialism made it away for African leaders and died a decade ago, leaving behind good and bad. I believe we should dwell more in the good foundation laid, thus still nurturing the power mentality of being inferior because we are black. The trade church was created, then promoted export-oriented economy, new crops and technology developed infrastructures like ports and railways. Great leaders should have leveraged on this existing platform to outshine their master. Lastly, my opponent will largely on the opinion that colonialism left Africa in a sorry state. But I want us to take a good look at Nigeria's security system. Is it different and also of the original Royal Niger Police in 1896? Let's be realistic. What did a flower eat nice fragrance is inbuilt in this system? If there are no enemy within our enemy, then assets can cause us any harm. I believe I'll be able to convince you that African real enemies are our leaders and not the colonial masters who have left us many years ago. Thanks. In conclusion, African economy is not accidental and they are not self-created. They are the direct result of exploitation exploitation, structural damage, and continued external control. All of it began with colonialism. You cannot build a strong future with a broken path without first acknowledging the damage. Therefore, we confidently and confidently affirm that African colonial past is the root cause of its current economic challenges. Thank you.
Good day everyone once again. In summary, I would like to say that colonialism has not just helped in eradicating illiteracy, it has also helped in solving internal conflicts in our country. So I would like to say that colonialism is not the root cause of African backwardness, it is the cause of our current leaders. Thanks.